Thank you for watching, everyone. And sorry so much. It's my wrong, and I forgot the button to push on the headphones, so I muted so long time. Sorry so much. And I started the interview session at DevRel Asia 2020 right now. I'm Atsushi, mainly organizer of the conference, and this time I will introduce our great speakers and chat with them about their talk in 15 minutes. Today's guest is Olle Pridiuksson at DevRel events. Okay, welcome, Olle. Sorry so
It
much.
works. It works. How cool is that?
Yeah, sorry.
It's
And
cool. Is anybody alive? People watching us, are you alive?
yeah,
Give
yeah,
us a sign. Give
they
us a
back,
sign.
yeah, they
You
back
do
to the
better than us.
broadcast. Yeah. So, first, please introduce yourself and what is your favorite sports, movies, technologies, anything about you.
Right. So the next hour, I'm gonna talk about my stories and music and films and games. And no, that's wrong. I will talk just about myself. So pretty much as soon as I graduated from university, I joined a company, a small startup. You may know it. This startup has recently went on to became public. That's Unity Technologies, the game engine that you all use and love. So it was a small startup when I joined it, and very quickly I started working as a developer advocate there. So I started from running beta programs and all that, and well, I grew up with it pretty much. So my heart still is there with Unity. And then I worked at a company that is called King. You probably know it because you or your mom or your sister or your brother played Candy Crush. So I worked at an R&D department at an experimental game engine at King here in Stockholm, where I'm based right now. And after I left King, I started my own thing, and basically, it's still developer relations within game development. That's all I have been doing for 12 years, and we are trying to solve the attention problem in developer relations in games, in game development. So how, like right now, you all know we all in the same year 2020, still year 2020, when we're locked at home and everyone is broadcasting just like we do now. So how do you fight for attention? How do you make people, how do you inspire people watch, consume whatever you create, be it videos like this or your tutorials? How do you make people interested in your product? So that's what we're trying to solve with my new thing. And so yeah, that's, I promised an hour, but I finished in 2 minutes.
Okay, so your company, DevRel Events,
Mhm.
support to the online events for several clients, right?
So let's put it this way. The Realisha is a virtual conference, and
Mm.
we have to go, like the way we go to conferences is like right now. We put our headphones,
Mm.
sit on the couch, and this is how we go to conferences these days.
Mm.
And previously, for me to go to DevRel Asia, for example, last year, I would have needed to book a ticket,
Mhm.
a long haul flight, a
Yeah.
hotel, everything. It's a lot of money. But as soon as I land
Mm.
in your country, in your city, I'm 100% at your conference. So
Mm.
I don't participate in company meetings, in stand-up calls, in anything, right?
Mm.
I'm right there 100% at the event.
Mm.
However, today, whenever myself or other entities go to the Asia, well, they probably go to one single talk they're particularly interested in, and
Mm.
that is it, right? And that is it. And even myself as a speaker,
Mm.
I have the Asia at the same day. I might
Mhm.
have a set of work meetings. I may
Mm.
have a set of other conferences,
Mhm.
because I mean, there is nothing stopping me from attending 10
mm,
events at the same
mm,
day. So how do we prioritize? And I mean, let's be honest about that. When the whole world is, in this Chrome window or Zoom window,
mhm,
like it's dramatically hard to fight for attention.
mm,
So previously, like being local
mhm,
was like you were able to win by being local, by saying, hey, we are
mhm,
local conferences. I know, for example, DevRel Singapore or DevRel
yeah,
Tokyo or
mhm,
DevRel Hong Kong.
mhm,
And you're saying, look, we're collecting people from this area, so people
yeah,
would go to meet their peers from this
mhm,
area because it's easier,
mhm,
like to it's interesting, naturally interesting to meet people from this area.
yeah,
Right now we're global. So
mm,
from one point of view, you can get me from Stockholm, somebody from San Francisco, like the
mm,
best global speakers
mm,
to speak at
mm,
your event. It's easy.
yeah,
But what about the attendees? How do you get people to actually go to your event? And
mm,
even harder, with
mhm,
everything being free, all the virtual conferences being free, how
mm,
do you inspire people pay you for running the conference? I mean, it takes time and money for you to run this conference. So
mm,
how do, like, obviously, and you have to inspire people to pay you for, like, the ticket price, and you
mhm,
have to inspire sponsors to, well, to sponsor you.
mm,
So right. And where I'm going to is that, well, we attention economy, back to
mhm,
that attention economy, that whoever is able to win the eyes and ears of
yeah,
people these pandemic days, well, they win. It's not
mhm,
the quality of the content anymore. It's
mm,
about how do you deliver your
mhm,
content to people.
mm,
And content delivery is not about the definition of video or audio.
mhm,
Obviously, that's
mm,
important, but the format.
mm,
Previously, the value of the talks was the more useful information you provide, the better.
mm,
But right now, because of so many great speakers are available,
mhm.
the quality is top, like, everywhere, pretty
I
much.
know. Yeah, yeah.
And like, so everyone is of great quality. You're competing globally,
Mhm,
both for attention and for, like, so what do we do? And where the relevance thing that is actually, it's about the format. Like,
mm,
nobody, like, previously the lectures, the sessions, the presentations,
mm,
like 30-minute plus,
mhm,
sometimes like 50 minutes plus Q&A.
mhm,
Right now, it's super hard to tell people, look, tune in to our Zoom meeting and
mm,
hang
I
out with
know.
us for 60 minutes, for many reasons. So what do we do? Well, you have to like to offer people something else, and something
Mm,
else that is interactivity, that is access to the speaker,
mhm,
that is access to the community. So
mhm,
that's one thing. Second thing, you don't want just to broadcast
mhm,
each each video session, each talk of yours
mm,
should be like, people who attended this talk, where do they go after this talk? Like, if it's a Zoom meeting, or if it's a Zoom meeting, they have attended, like, they have tuned in, you
mhm.
have earned, like, you have worked so hard to earn people, like, to watch this. Then
Yeah, yeah.
meeting ends and they vanish,
Mhm,
right?
yeah,
So,
I
and
know.
think about that. You have worked so hard
Mhm,
to, like, to access to these people, this audience, and then it's vanished. So
mm,
probably, like, doing meetings, like doing this talks over Zoom doesn't make sense, because you
mm,
waste so much effort. So what do we do? Well, you may use tools, like, even if you stream to your own YouTube channel, you
mhm,
can say people, look, if you want more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. So
mm,
even streaming to YouTube make more sense than
mhm,
streaming to Zoom. But we can go even further on. What if we start our own community, for example, with Discord, right?
mm.
So we can
Yeah.
say, "Hey, people, to watch the session,
Mhm,
come into my Discord,
Mhm.
and you can hang out with speakers. You can, uh, and again, if we're talking about Discord suddenly,
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
if we were in Discord, we could say, look, people, you can join the conversation.
Mm.
Join the conversation, and I mean, please behave well. Don't let us all enjoy this experience. But suddenly,
Mm.
uh,
Mm. Mm.
the audience is invited to the conversation. They can ask questions, they can
Mm.
interact. It's another set of problems. But where I'm going to is that I mean, the world has changed.
Mhm.
The span of attention of people have changed, and we have to adapt to it, and we have to offer the content
Mm.
that people can engage with, that people like.
Mhm.
uh, like it's still whatever 24 hours a day,
Mhm.
probably 8 hours a day that people want to dedicate to something, maybe 10 hours, maybe
Mhm.
12, depends on how you define like your time.
Mm.
But still, like, we fight for people's times globally, and
Mhm.
people decide themselves. Do they want to tune in to DevRel Asia, or do they want to watch somebody playing Minecraft,
Mhm.
for example,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Like the value of information is totally different these days, because everybody is so tired. Everybody watches like this screen whole day,
Mhm.
and in order to get people's attention, you have to invent new ways. You
Mm.
have to offer new formats, and you have to invent new ways of interacting with people. So, for example, like, if you let me continue this narrative for one more minute, we are using both voice and video and text right now.
Yeah.
Imagine, do we lose anything if, for example, we stop the video? So like that.
Yeah.
Are we losing any information by
Mhm.
like, you don't see me?
No,
Uh,
no. Yeah.
so, for
Mm. Yeah.
example, if you're walking your dog, I mean, you don't, like, you're walking your dog, and I'm in your ears.
Mhm.
It's same. It's same. It's like a podcast, but like, you're not losing any information unless I'm showing something. But then, if I know this is both broadcasted as audio and video, I would explain what people like, what I'm showing, so people just listening to that.
Mm.
But then again, if you think about it, by focusing on audio, you're enabling more people pretty much. So somebody can, walk the dog, somebody can go to a gym, somebody
Mhm.
might, spend time with a kid, as in like the kid is sleeping. So you're like,
Mm.
sort of like helping your kid to sleep. You cannot
Mhm.
have a laptop with yourself, right? You can
Mm.
have a phone, it might be somewhere, but like, you can be in your headphones. And
Yeah.
this is how you go to an event. And so what I'm trying to say, that video suddenly becomes optional.
Mm, maybe.
Maybe, but then, if video is optional, then how do you interact with people? Since that's what I was sort of like pushing, like, hey, interaction, interaction, interaction.
Mm.
Direction in many ways. Direction in many ways. Obviously, you can suggest, polls and other kinds of like, likes, dislike. So that's one thing. Another
Mm.
thing is, if we're getting back to letting audience participate using their voice.
And no, they just watching.
Yeah, but if we figure out how to make
Mm.
this, suddenly people might have, like, might put bigger value to
Mm.
the events where they can participate using voice, since it, like, the hands might be busy. Or, for
Mm.
example, right now it's winter. If you went to a conference using your ears, right? So, like,
Mhm. Yeah,
as
I know.
like a podcast, and then you want to ask that question, it's just hard. It's cold. Your hands are freezing.
Oh, yeah, I know, I know. So maybe we can provide to the boy using the voice for Q&A.
For
That
example, yeah,
in the sessions,
mhm,
attendees have to mute it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, for example, I mean, we are figuring it out with yourself and the rest of the world. And what were the real events just
Mhm.
do with our clients is we figure out what they want. Since I mean, the conference, the live event is a tool. It's not the goal. It's a tool to
Mhm.
achieve the goal. Maybe
Mhm.
to inspire people to use some game engine or other software, or introduce people to some new technology, or to assemble a community, or like something.
Mhm.
So it depends on the goal, but I think live events is the only way to get people's attention
Mhm.
these days. And obviously this live event shall be saved so people can watch it at their pace, maybe at 2x at some point, also to accommodate different time zones, or so people like so people can download it to their devices, for example, as audio, as a podcast, and listen when they walk their dog again, or
Mhm.
just play with kids in the park or something.
Mhm.
So yeah, yeah. I've spoken too much. Do you agree with anything that I have said?
I know, I know. So I think I have some questions for you.
Mhm.
I think most of game players can prepare the gorgeous broadcasting system, like with gaming on Twitch or Discord, and they can broadcast very high quality uh, sh- system. Like there is a chat windows and the donation here, and they can talk with audiences and gaming. Like so, I think it's very special ability for game developers. I think.
Well, just that people playing games have figured out microphones and cameras earlier than the rest of the world, just because
Mm,
like they felt it was fun before it was cool. But
mm,
really, as a programmer, as a developer advocate, you may not be a game player these days, but you have
yeah,
to figure
yeah.
out how to stream. Like, I mean, as a developer advocate, you heard of. I mean, it's assumed that you're able to set up Windows, for example, and probably nowadays it's assumed that you can set up web camera and do creepy things like that, juggling
Oh, yeah,
cameras
yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that. So it just becomes an essential skill. I can do this
Mm,
trick again.
hmm. But I think most of developer advocate or evangelists have to learn from game developers how to broadcast or how to appeal their
And
knowledge
how to
on
ask
the
for
online.
money during their web streams. Yes.
Mm. Yeah, I see. So maybe I think your session is very gorgeous broadcast architectures, and you you will show a lot of techniques on your session, right?
Whatever people want. I mean, I have lots of experience and lots of skills, and whatever you people want, whatever you people need, I'll be there for you. Right, like during the session, before the session, like after the session.
Mhm.
We have still about a month before the event. Well, no, less actually, but still. So you have my handle at Twitter.
Mhm.
With the relation, ask questions. If, for example, if
Mhm.
you're shy about asking the question in English,
Mhm.
they will help you translate. I will use Google Translate
Yeah, yeah.
to. So I mean, like let's interact. Let's interact. I'm available. Other speakers are also available. The whole world is available. I mean, we are all here before our screens,
Mhm.
and the only thing we all have, especially like we as in developer advocates, because we're social people. We'll like hanging out with people.
Mm.
That's just the nature. Most people who become developer advocates or evangelists or wherever
Mm.
work in developer relations, they're extroverted. So right now we're starving for attention, we're starving for interactivity because of all this pandemic and lockdown, and we all miss travels, and we all miss meeting people. So
Mm.
we want you people, we want like, let's talk. Let's talk, let's hang out.
Mm. I see. Thank you so much. So currently, over 20 minutes. So our interview is
Mhm.
done today. And I talk about again our conference, DevRel Asia, will be held on the November 14th. Please save the date, everyone's, and waiting that day. So, and our next interview is 0:13 a.m. UTC on tomorrow with Patrick Franz. Okay, so thank you, Ole. You have great careers, and you have strongly no, no, you have great uh, knowledge of the meetup or conference or broadcasting. So I can't wait. I can't wait listening your talk. So and I hope you also will enjoy the DevRel Asia 2020. Thank you again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, everyone, see you next interview.